PennDOT has launched a new online process for highway contractors to submit documentation for pre-qualification to bid on highway projects. A series of short videos were created to help you complete the necessary steps in PennDOT's Engineering and Construction Management System, or ECMS. This video was created to demonstrate the step-by-step process for the prime contractor new application. The first thing you want to do is enter your user ID and password. Then click Login. Then click OK to go to the ECMS homepage. In the top left-hand corner, click Business Partner. Slide down and select Contractors. The Contractor portal screen is displayed. On the right side, click Create View Pre-qualification Applications. The application screen is displayed. If this is the first time submitting an application, select New, and then select New Pre-qualification from the drop-down list. Since I have already started an application, I need to select Draft under the application status. The new option only appears for the first time when submitting an application. Once I select Draft, the application summary screen is displayed. In the General section, you will notice yellow fields with yellow flags. These fields are required fields and must be filled out. Also note, under Application Status, in the top right-hand corner, the contractor principal can also submit to PennDOT. So the first thing we want to do is select Contractor Type. Click the drop-down arrow. You can select Prime Contractor or Subcontractor. We've selected Prime Contractor. Enter the contact person's name and enter the contact person's email address. Once the required information is filled in, select Save at the top of your screen. You will receive a notice that the information was saved successfully. Our next section to complete is Part 1, Contractor's Financial Statement. The next step is Part 1, Contractor's Financial Statement. In the Part 1 Contractor Financial Statement section, select Edit to open a new screen. You will need to fill in all the yellow fields with flags since it is required information. Note there are resources in the top right-hand corner that can help you fill out this section. Once you click on a resource, a PDF will open, and you can print or save the PDF for your records. In the General section, click the down arrow under Contractor Organization Type to select your organization's type. Note that the required fields could change depending on the type of organization you've selected. So you can see that the screen changes. The questions are different depending on what you pick. I'm selecting the organization as corporation. I'm going to click the calendar to select the date of incorporation. The next thing you need to do is answer the question, is contractor an affiliate, subsidiary, or division? Click the down arrow and select yes or no, and then type in your state of incorporation. The next section you need to fill out is the contractor's financial statement. Fill in the highlighted fields, so total current assets, total current liabilities, book value of equipment, balance sheet date, and statement type. Click the down arrow, and there's 3 options to choose from. We selected Audit. Once all of the highlighted fields are filled in, select Save at the top of the screen to save your information. So you'll see that your information was saved successfully. The next section to fill in is organization leadership name and addresses. You can click Add. A reminder message will pop up to remind you to always save your information before starting a new section. I have already saved my information, so I can click OK to go to the next screen. If you are not sure if you've saved your information, click Cancel, then click Save at the top of your screen. Once you click OK, the details screen is displayed. So we now are on the organization leadership name and address screen. In the Details section under Title, click the down arrow and select a title from the list. You must select one of the titles on the screen. You cannot type in your own title. We have an employee already listed, so I will select Bill Lewis, and you can see that this information, the title, the name, and the address is filled in. Once the required information is filled in, you can select Save at the top of your screen. You'll get your message saying the information was saved successfully. You'll also see that your employee is listed below. Click back to return to Part 1 Contractor Financial Statement screen. Your employee will show on this screen also. Click the Save link to make sure that you've saved your information successfully. If you need to enter line of credit information, slide down to that section and click Add. We know our information is saved successfully, so I'm just going to click OK to open that next screen. Enter your financial institution's name. Enter an amount. And then click the calendar to select an expiration or an effective date. There's also resources on this screen that you can select. A PDF will open that you can print or you can save for your records. So once that information is there, they want you to attach the document Lines of Credit. It's the only one listed. So in the attachment title section, type in your name. So it's XYZ Bank, we're going to name it. And then a description. Click Choose File. From the pop-up, find your document, highlight it, and then select Open. You'll see your document is now showing on the screen. So make sure you hit Save to save your document. It is now under the Available Attachments section. Once your document is saved, you can select Back to go back to Part 1 Contractor Financial Statement screen. Before you exit Part 1, you need to click Validate at the top of the screen to make sure you've attached all the necessary documentation. So I'm going to click Save before that just to make sure the information has saved successfully. And then I'm going to click Validate. So we did that. So you'll notice that it says the Audited Accountant Certificate document is still required. So we need to attach that document. So we'll slide down to the attachment section. Under the document type, click the down arrow, and there's a list of documents that they're looking for. So they are asking for the Audited Accountant Certificate. I've clicked that. Now I'm going to add my title. Then I will click Choose File to find my file. Highlight it and select Open. My file is now listed on the screen. So then I need to click Save. So if I slide down, you will see that it is now under the Available Attachments section. So before going to the next section, I want to select Validate one more time just to make sure that all the information has been entered. So we know our information was successfully saved because it's showing on the screen. So I'm going to click OK. And now we have the message saying that validation completed successfully. So if there's no more documents, then you can go ahead and go into our next section, which is Part 2, Organization and Experience Statement. The next section we will complete is Part 2, Organization and Experience Statement. From the Application Summary screen, select Edit in Part 2. The easiest way to complete this screen is to fill in all of the required yellow fields first in the following 3 sections: contractor information, compliance questions, and additional questions. Under contractor information, enter your organization's number of years in business. Enter your organization's number of years of experience in highway construction work. Read the statement and select your organization's SSPC certification status. Click the drop-down arrow. There are 4 options, and we've selected QP1 certified. On the right-hand side of the screen, enter the name of the resident agent that is stationed in Pennsylvania, along with their address and email address. The email address field is not highlighted, but you will get a reminder message to enter an email address for the resident agent when you save your information. Scroll to the compliance section. Answer the 10 questions by selecting the drop-down arrow and picking yes or no. If you answered yes to any of the compliance questions, you will need to add more information. It is best to wait to click the Add Edit Response box until all the highlighted fields on the screen have been filled in. So we have 2 more questions to answer. Under the additional questions, read the 2 questions, and if they apply to your company, type in your response. If they do not apply to your company, you can type in NA. So now all of the yellow fields are filled in, so we can select Save. So our information was saved successfully. We will go back to the compliance questions, and for the first one we answered yes. So we are going to click the Add Edit Response box. We're going to click OK because we know our information was saved. The question pops up on the screen: has your company ever failed to complete any work awarded to you? I have a response already filled out. So you put in the project name, date of failure, and the reason. Once those 3 boxes are filled, you can go ahead and select Save. Then you can select Back, and you're back to the front screen again. So there are 5 more sections we need to complete. For the next section, it's the requested desired work classification. I'm going to click Save before I start. And now I'll click Request Work Classification. Under Available Records, check the boxes for any of the work class codes that apply to your company. You must select at least 1 work class code. Select Apply. Your work class code will appear in the Selected Records section at the top of the screen. You can remove a code by clicking the box in front of the work class code and selecting Apply. Once you have finished this section, select Save. You will return to the Part 2 screen and you can see your work class codes listed in the section. Note, some work class codes are bundled together, so you might see more work class codes on the screen than what you selected. For the next part, Organization Project Experience, you can hover over the blue circle and it wants you to list contracts which show the various types of work completed by your organization in the past 5 years. You can select non-ECMS projects, or you can add project experience. So we'll click Add Project Experience. The new screen will display. Fill out all of the required fields. Note to make sure that you fill out the email fields even though they might not be highlighted. I've completed one already. So I can show you what it looks like. This is one that says subcontractor. There's also a contractor one. The fields change depending on what you pick. So for the subcontractor, you'll need to fill in all the highlighted fields plus the email field on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, you need to fill in all of the fields on that side also. Once you have finished the section, you can select Save and then select Back. But here's also one for the prime contractor. Again, it's very important to enter the email addresses. Even though the box isn't highlighted, you will get a reminder message if you do not have an email address entered. So we can select Save, and then we can select Back. And you'll see your project experience is listed. Under Construction Experience of Key Employees, if you hover over the blue circle, they want you to list the construction experience of the officers and management personnel, including superintendents of your organization. So to list your employees, you can click Add Employee. And they want these 6 boxes filled in. So you fill in the name, employee title, years of experience, type of construction work, and experience position. Once that's filled in, you can select Save. You'll get the message the information was saved successfully, and then you can select Back. Sometimes the screen will go back one extra screen. So if that happens, you can go right back into Part 2 by clicking Edit. The next section is the plant and equipment section. So they want you to list equipment owned and indicate separately equipment under lease or otherwise available to you with explanation of these arrangements. If applying as a prime contractor, this list of equipment should be identical with those shown on your financial statement to be credited with the technical evaluation of your application. Complete this section or you can attach your own report by uploading it under the attachment section. So you can either put the information in here or you can actually just add the information as a PDF in the attachment section. So to show you what it looks like, we'll click Add Plant and Equipment. So these are the fields they want you to fill out. We have one already. So I put dump truck, it's equipment. They also have plant there if you would have to select plant, but we're selecting equipment for this one. Under the category, they want to know if it's leased, otherwise available, or owned. The condition of your equipment, the quality, the size, and the years of service. So once all that information is entered, you can click Save. And then you can click Back. So if you slide down to the plant equipment, you'll see that your dump truck is sitting there. The last section to complete is the affiliates and subsidiaries section. Select Add, and the new screen will open. Enter the name of the affiliated organization and click Save. So we have one here already done. If I click Save, and I can click back to go to the previous screen. If adding a subsidiary organization, let's go back to the bottom and click Add to show you what that looks like. You can click the magnifying glass and you can pick a company from the list. You will get an error message if you try to add an affiliated organization and a subsidiary organization. So we're going to cancel this because we don't want the error message. So I'm going to select Back. Once you finish this section, then select Save. Before going to Part 3, you need to click Validate to make sure you've attached all your documentation. So we're going to click Validate. And it says that we need to add our QP1 certificate document. So slide down to the bottom. Under the attachments, I'm going to click Document Type and find the QP1 certificate. So then they want an attachment title, and a description. Then you want to choose File, find your certificate, and click Open. The name is now showing on the screen, so you need to click Save. So it says the information was saved successfully. So click Validate one more time to make sure that everything is correct in Part 2. So you'll see that we got the message, validation completed successfully. Since if there are no more documents to attach, we can go ahead and click Save. And then, or we can actually click Save and Exit, so we can exit Part 2 of the application. The next section we will complete is Part 3, Affirmative Action Statement. From the Application Summary screen, select Edit in the Part 3 Affirmative Action Statement section. The new screen displays. On the Contractor Information section, click the magnifying glass to select the EEO officer. The Equal Employment Opportunity Officer screen displays. Click the plus sign to select an employee as the EEO officer. You will be returned to the previous screen and the employee will be listed as your EEO officer. If you click the magnifying glass and there are no names showing on the screen, you will have to add the employee. To add the employee, click New. The employee screen displays. Fill out all of the required yellow fields. Make sure that the EEO officer is selected for the employee title. So we're going to select Helen because we know she's our EEO officer. So all the information is filled out. For this screen, you need to click Save and Exit to return to the previous screen. Select the EEO officer by clicking the plus sign. So Helen's name is listed. After the EEO is listed in the affirmative action screen, add the EEOO's email. Then answer the question, is your organization recognized as a DB? Click the drop-down arrow to select yes or no. So we have yes selected. If we would select no, this section at the bottom would not be here. So you need to go through the 5 sections and select whether or not they apply to your business. So we selected yes for small business administration. We added an effective date and an expiration date. If you select yes to any of the questions, you will need to attach documentation at the end. We will add all of the required documentation after we finish answering the required yellow fields for Part 3. They also have a section for additional comments that you can add. In the disclaimer section, read the disclaimer statements and answer the question by clicking the down arrow and selecting yes. In the last sentence in the disclaimer section, click on the EO Plan Guideline Instructions resource that explains your company's Equal Opportunity Plan. You will need to attach your company's EO plan before exiting Part 3. So if you click on the resource, it will download a PDF. And that just gives you more information on how to fill out that section. And you can save it and you can print it. In the questions section, answer the questions by clicking the down arrow and selecting yes or no. If you selected yes, you would need to provide additional information and attach supporting documents before exiting Part 3. In the compliance review agency section, if you selected yes to the question above, has any federal or state agency conducted an EEO compliance review of your organization within the past 2 years, you will need to click Add and enter some information on the screen. So we selected yes for that. So we're going to click Add. Let's click Save first. So everything was saved successfully. So back down to the compliance review agencies, we'll select add. So you need to fill in the information on the screen. So we're going to pick a date, and then we'll pick a state. So it tells you that you have to add a compliance determination letter. So to do that, you want to type in the title and a description. Then click Choose File to find your file, and then click Open. So you'll see the name of your document on the screen, and you can click Save. Your compliance determination letter is now in the available documents. You can click back to go back to the previous screen. And the next section we need to finish is unions. In the union section, under the union contractor question, you can click the down arrow to say yes or no. So, is your organization a union contractor? If yes, please list the unions that represent your workforce and attach the union bargaining non-discrimination clause, union bargaining table of contents, and union bargaining cover page. So we selected yes. And here is the union section. So to attach those documents, you would click Add. You would type in your union name. And then we would do what we did before. We would come over here, you would click the name of the document, and then type in the title and the description and choose the file. And you would do that for all 3 documents. Once all that information is uploaded, you can click Save. You'll get your message that the information was saved successfully, and then click back. So the last thing we need to do is answer the question, does your organization have apprenticeship and or on-the-job training programs? You can select yes or no. If you select yes, you can just enter in your information in the box. So we want to click validate before we exit this section to see if we're missing any information. So we will click save. The information was saved successfully. So now we're going to click validate to see what information we need to add. So it's telling us we need to add the Equal Opportunity Plan document. So we go down to the bottom where the attachment section is. Under document type, we select the Equal Opportunity Plan. Enter the title, enter the description, and then click Choose File to find the file. And then click Open. Your file is showing on the screen. Click Save to save your file. You'll get a message saying that the information was saved successfully. Click Validate one more time just to make sure everything for Part 3 has been entered. So you got your message saying validation completed successfully. You have completed all the information needed for the pre-qualification application. You can click Log Out in the top right-hand corner of the screen. You will be returned to the ECMS homepage. In this video, we will show the steps needed for the contractor principal to sign and submit the pre-qualification application. The contractor principal will log into ECMS using their user ID and password. Click Login. then click OK. You are now on the ECMS homepage. In the top left-hand corner, click Business Partner. From the drop-down list, select Contractors. The Contractor portal screen is now displayed. On the right side of the screen, select Create View Pre-qualification Applications. On the Application screen, select Draft in the Application Status section. Review the information in the General section to make sure it is completed correctly. Note that the contractor principal can make changes to the application if needed. So check to make sure your contractor type is correct, the contact person, and the contact person's email is correct. If the information is correct, go to Part 1 and select Edit on the right-hand side. Review the information to make sure it is completed correctly. So review your General section, your Organization Leadership section, Contractor Financial Statement, Line of Credit, and then you can view your available attachments at the bottom. Click Validate to ensure that all the data and required attachments have been entered. You can select OK when the pop-up reminds you to save your information since we have not made any changes. You should get a message stating that the validation completed successfully. Click back to return to the application summary page. Go to Part 2, select Edit, review the information to make sure it is completed correctly. So review your contractor information, your request desired work classifications, organization project experience, construction experience of key employees, plant and equipment, compliance questions, affiliates and subsidiaries, and the additional questions section. You can also look at the available attachments to make sure that you've attached everything. Click Validate to ensure that all the data and required attachments have been entered. We know that we've not made any changes, so we will select OK. We received our statement, validation completed successfully. Select back and to return to the application summary page. Go to Part 3. Click Edit on the right-hand side. Review the information to make sure it is completed correctly. So review your contractor information, your DB information, the disclaimer section, the question section, compliance review agencies, unions, and then your available attachments. At the top of the screen, click Validate to ensure that all the data and required attachments have been entered. We can select OK because we did not make any changes. You should get a message stating that the validation completed successfully. Select back to return to the application summary page. Go to the last section on the screen, the declaration section. Read the statement. In accordance with Act 15 of 2020, which was signed into law on April 20th, 2020, and allows for unsworn declarations, I declare under penalty of perjury under the law of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania that the foregoing is true and correct. So in the title section, click the drop-down and select your title. We're going to select CEO. If you do not see your title, you can select Other, and then you can type your title in the box on the right-hand side. Today's date will show in the box. Location, which is the city, state, and county, is actually information that is pulled from your company's information page.
If the information needs to be changed, you can type inside of this box. To submit your application, go to the top of the screen, select Workflow, click the drop-down arrow, and select Sign and Submit. A message will pop up on your screen saying you have chosen to submit this information. Click OK to proceed or cancel to abort. Click OK. Your application has been submitted. You will receive messages on your screen stating that your information was submitted successfully. You and the application contact person will receive an email confirmation of your signed application. The appropriate PennDOT employees will also receive emails notifying them that your application needs to be reviewed and approved. Select Logout in the top right-hand corner to exit the screen. You are now returned to the ECMS homepage.